Hello everybody. Welcome back to our CMA classes. This is Soumya Santosh, a CMA finalist. Today I'm going to start the new chapter of corporate governance for CE final, CMA final students. So this is one of the topic chapter of our law subject. So let's start. First of all, what is corporate governance? Which is conduct of business with shareholder desire. Okay, so this was a very short definition of it. Let's get into the corporate governance now. Okay, so corporate governance, it is a testament to process. Just a second. Yes, corporate governance testament to the process. The affair of company is managed with respect of three things: fairness, honesty and good practice, which is ultimate for the benefit of whom? Benefit of all the stakeholders of the companies. Okay, stakeholder is a huge term which include government, shareholders, employees, director, everyone. Okay, so that's a huge term. Okay, let's go for it now. Corporate governance is conduct of business in accordance with whom? The shareholders desire. This is one thing which I already told you. Okay, which generally means to make money, right, as much as possible while contributing to the basic role of society embodied law and local custom. What happens? I'll tell you, I'll give you a very simple logic behind it. What happens when we are getting, from where we are getting the resources? We are getting from the society, right? Being a citizen of that country, that state, that country. Okay, so it's one of our responsibility to take care of that society from where we are getting the resources. This is also going to imply in which the companies to the corporate also. Okay, so hope so this point was very simple and clear to you. Okay, so is there any need of corporate governance in corporate? Yes, there is a need for corporate governance, and that is corporate governance is integral to the existence of the company. It is needed to create corporate culture of what? Transparency, first, accountability and disclosure. Okay, let's go for some of the needs of corporate governance now. First of all, corporate performance. Okay, with the help of corporate governance, the corporate performance of the company is effective. Okay, is it going to give the positive effect? Yes. Okay, first of all, which improves the government structure. Okay, it helps in improving the government structure. It helps in making quality decision making. Okay, and it encourage effective planning. Okay, which directly influence and help in performance of whom? Of the corporate. Okay, which means the company's performance is directly or indirectly going to affect, okay, with the help of corporate governance. The other needs are enhance investor trust. How? Investor considered corporate governance as important as financial performance while evaluating company or for the investment. So here we are saying this corporate governance is as important as the financial performance, the importance of financial performance have, which means this is helping the investor to either to invest in this company or not. Okay, let's go for other thing, which is combating corruption. How it's going to combat the corruption, how it's going to control the corruption. Okay, let's go get into it. It provides full disclosure of accounting, ठीक, and it also give full disclosure of auditing procedure. So everything done is in white transparency, not in black, right? So when the financial statement, the true financial statement is disclosed, okay, which means the the level of corruption is not high in that case. Okay, so this allows the transparency in business transaction. Okay, so one can easily close his eyes and invest in that company. Okay, and provide environmental where corruption will certainly fade away. So this was one of the other need, which is combating corruption, which means controlling corruption, reducing corruption. ठीक. Okay, so first was corporate performance, increasing the corporate performance. Second was of enhancing investor trust. ठीक है. Third, corruption, controlling the corruption. Fourth, better access to global market. And how? It attract the investment from global investor basically, which subsequently lead to generate efficient in the financial sector. This is how it's going to work. And another is enhancing enterprise valuation, which means improve management accountability and operational transparency, fulfill investor expectation and confidence on management and corporation, and return increase the value of corporations. Another is accountability. Definitely it's going to be one of the needs. Investors have directly, indirectly entrusted management of the company, and this creates helping and enhance value of their investment. Okay, so this is going to, what is going to do here, the accountability of the company is going to be increased. Okay, and easy to finance from the institution. What happens once the company is following all the procedure of government corporate governance, okay, which means the company is fulfilling each and everything. Okay, they are up to the date, they are showing their true values, their positions are exactly what the financial statements are showing. Okay, and apart from that thing, I mean, they are also fulfilling their responsibility toward the society. Got it? So once you are creating the your reputation is increased, your brand value is created. Okay, once your brand value is created, people, the customers loyalty is going to attract in that case. Okay, so it's very easy to get the fund from the investor in that case. Hope so this was also clear. Let's go for the other need, which is reduce risk of corporate crisis and scandals. Effective public governance ensure efficient risk mitigation system in the place. Okay, these are the needs of corporate governance in the company, in the organization. So let's go for some of the other benefits of corporate governance, which is simply improving the financial performance, right? Reducing the operational cost, as we already read that. Enhancing the reputation, creating brand name, as I told you. Improve quality and productivity. Okay, what is this corporate governance now? Which means they are following some standard of codes, right? If, for example, if they are manufacturing goods, which means the goods should be of good quality. The consumer should get the good quality at right place, of right quantity, at minimum price, you know. So this is going to indirectly increase the value of that organization. Okay, so this also improves the quality and productivity definitely, and increasing sale and definitely customer loyalty. So these are the other benefits of corporate governance. Okay, let's go for some of the principles of corporate governance evolved by OECD. Is it very similar to OCD? Right? No. Okay. OECD is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So this is one of the organization for what? Economic cooperation and development. Okay. What's one of the earliest non-government organization, which means this is NGO. Okay, which is going to focus on what? Principle and practices. So they are going to focus on 2P. PP, not Preeti. Okay, P means here principle and another P is going to be practice. Hope so this was clear. So this organization OECD, okay, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is going to focus on which thing? This is one of the NGO which is going to focus on two things: performance and practices, principle and practices, and that should go and cooperate in their goal to a long-term shareholders value. Okay, so with their goal, they are cooperating with the long-term shareholders value. Okay, so this is a principle and practice which cooperate with goals with what? With the long-term shareholder value. So let's go for some of the other main principle covered in this. Okay, so right of shareholder, as I told you, this is going to cover what? The goal of the organization, right? And with that, the long-term values of whom? Of the shareholder. Let me take another pen. Okay, of whom, of the shareholders. So long term shareholder values, ठीक है, which means we are talking about whom, the shareholder here. Okay, the right of shareholder, what is now right of shareholders? As I have written here, let's go for it. Right to secure ownership of shareholders shares, okay, their shares, okay, which means to hold, to secure ownership of their shares, which means, ठीक है, right to full disclosure of information, voting right, participation in decision on sale, merger, issue of new shares, modification of corporate assets. So these are the basic rights of shareholders. Okay, let's go for the other principle, which is equitable treat of shareholder. OECD is concerned with protecting minority shareholders. Okay, what basically happens, we always go for majorities, right? So the decision is always based on which basis, the majority, okay, majority of shareholders, right? So in this case, in the case of OECD, the principle are also going to focus on which part, the minority part. We are not going to leave anyone here. Okay, so the OECD concerned with protecting minority shareholders right by setting up system that keep inside us, including whom, including the manager, directors, from taking advantage of their role. Okay, so which means they are protecting the minority interest well also. Okay, so let's go for the other principle, the role of stakeholders in the governance, corporate governance. I'm not talking about shareholder now, I'm talking about the stakeholder. Stakeholder is a huge term which include government, employees, everyone, okay, including the shareholders also. So the OECD guidelines lay out several general provisions for protecting stakeholders' interest. Hope so this was also clear. Let's go for the other principle, which is disclosure and transparency. Okay, the OECD laid down the number of provisions for disclosure and communication of key factor about the company, ranging from the financial detail to the government structure, including the board of directors and their remuneration. So majority, these principles are talking about whom? About the shareholders, majority. Okay, about their rights, about the board transparency, each and everything. Okay, about the disclosure, transparency, reports and all. So let's go for the last principle, which is responsibility of board. Again, OECD guidelines provide a great deal of details about the function of what, food नहीं है ये, board है ये, ठीक है, about the board in protecting the company and shareholders. This include the concern of strategy, risk, executive compensation and performance, as well as accounting and reporting system. So majorly what I have said, the principle are focusing on whom? The shareholders. Let's go for again, first was of right of shareholders, again equity treatment of shareholders, fourth was of disclosure and transparency, ठीक, and responsibility of board, and one more thing, the role of stakeholders, in the corporate governance. So OECD is focusing on the 5 principles. Okay, let's go for one question here. This question have actually come in exam. Okay, previous exams. Corporate governance is all about shareholder satisfaction comment. As I told you, majority what we are focusing on this shareholders goal, right? With the organization goal, we are also focusing on the long term value of whom? Of the shareholders, guys. So let's go for the answer. The term corporate governance is not easy to define in terms of governance relating to the process of decision making and implementing the decision in the interest of all shareholders. It is basically related to the enhance of corporate performance. Okay, so apart from, they are saying they are not only focusing on the shareholders, right? The corporate governance itself is including various things. With the long term values of shareholders, they are also focusing on so many things. So first of all, they are enhancing, okay, the corporate performance. Okay, so they are enhancing the corporate performance, ensure the proper accountability for the management. So what are they doing? Accountability for the management. Okay, so they are ensuring this in the interest of all shareholders. It is system through which the organization is guided and directed on the basis of definition, code of objective. Corporate governance are focused on the protective, transparency, participation, accountability, efficiency, effectiveness and satisfaction of shareholders. So majoritarily we can simply say the corporate governance is not all about shareholder satisfaction. It is focusing so many things with that, okay, which is enhancing the corporate performance, ठीक, and accountability for managing, ठीक है, management, okay, which apart from that they are protecting transparency, and there are so many things which is going to be included in the corporate governance. So hope so this point was also clear. Okay, let's go for now the corporate responsibility. Corporate, I'm just including some more things in it, okay, we know this, and these points are going to come in this chapter. Okay, so corporate governance, now we know something about corporate governance. There is a huge confusion between what is corporate financial responsibility, corporate social responsibility, and what is sustainability development, which is corporate responsibility. There is another question which often comes in my mind or your mind definitely, okay, what is, which one is the biggest thing in them, among them, is there any head or something? Okay, let's go for this topic now, the corporate responsibility. Okay, corporate responsibility consists three major elements. Okay, corporate responsibility is sustainability development. Okay, don't get confused here. So corporate responsibility is what? Sustainability development, sustainable development. And what is sustainable development? We have, we know this term. I'll tell you what we have to do. Once we are using these resources from the society, what we have to do, we have to use it in a very minimum amount. Okay, and we have to always keep some things in our mind that we want to use these resources first of all in a very minimum amount, and we have to keep them for the future use. So what I told you, the use of resources should be utilized properly. Optimization of resources should be there, okay, and resources should not be wasted, and it should be kept for future use. So this is what sustainable development means. Okay, we are using the resources and not spoiling, not wasting any of the resources which we are having, or this could be possible in the future we cannot have that resources. So some things should kept in our mind. First of all, we shouldn't exploit the resources. Okay, so majority thing says, the sustainability development says to use the things in that way that the resources should be also used for the further future, okay, for the future purpose, which simply says. Let's go for the corporate governance, corporate responsibility, which is sustainable development, which consists of three things. Okay, first is corporate financial responsibility, which is CFR, okay, corporate environment responsibility, which is CER, and corporate social responsibility, which is CSR. Now we know this part बहुत अच्छे से, ठीक है, what is corporate social responsibility, we know this part, ठीक है. So let's go for, first of all, let's clarify the definition of sustainable development, ठीक है. Sustainable development, sustainability 3 is sustainability development, यहाँ पे development आएगा, consist of three main pillars, which is present environmental concern, which is definitely environmental. What is corporate environment responsibility is related to environmental concern. Okay, second, socially responsible is corporate social responsibility, and economic operation, which is corporate financial responsibility. Okay, so hope so this part was clear. Environmental concern is CER. Okay, social responsible practice is CSR. ठीक है, economic operation is what? Corporate CFR. Hope so this point was clear, right? This is super clear. These three parts are also informally referred to as people. People is what? Planet, and profit. Profit is what? This CFR. Okay, hope so this point was clear. People is what? CSR. Hope so this point was also clear. Okay, and planet is for what? CER. So CFR is what? Profit, CER is planet, and CSR is people. Hope so this was also clear. Okay, so let's go for it. Sustainable development is a broad concept that the balance is need for economic growth and environmental protection. Okay, and social equity is a process of change in which the exploitation of resources, okay, the direction of the investment and institutional changes are all in harmony and enhance both current and future potential to meet the human needs and aspiration. What happens? Always we have to keep some things in our mind that we shouldn't exploit the resources, as I told you earlier. Okay, and what as we know that some of the animals are extinct from our planet, okay, from this world. Why? They are not conserved. Okay, as we know that in future we cannot get everything, or we cannot see everything right now we are seeing. Okay, so what we have to do, being a good citizen of our country, we have to minimize the use of plastic. This is one of the basic thing which we can use, we can simply do in our daily life. We can minimize the use of plastic, okay, reuse it as much you can possible, or collect the plastic and give it to somebody which is going to useful for them, right, for the recycle purpose or all. Okay, so this is our duties also. Okay, hope so you get my point. Let's go for the sustainable development is a broad concept and it combines what? Economics, social, environmental science, management, business management, political and laws. Okay, hope so this point was super clear. Okay, corporate sustainability is a business approach that creates long-term shareholder value by embracing opportunities and managing risk deriving from the economic environment and social development. Corporate stability describes business practices built around the social and environmental consideration. So simply what I can say, it focuses on three things: people, planet, profit. Corporate people stand for the corporate social responsibility, the planet stands for corporate environment responsibility, and profit stand for the corporate financial responsibility. Okay, this was very simple. Hope so you get my point. Now let's go for the 4 fundamental principles of sustainable development agreed by United Nations Conference on the Environmental and Development. They are principle of integration and equity. First of all, they are saying the principle of integration and equity, which is saying we need to preserve natural resources for the future generation. Okay, second principle for sustainable development, sustainable use, which is saying use of natural resources in prudent manner without or with a minimum tolerable impact on nature. So we should use something or which not directly impact the nature, the mother nature. So either we should go for some prudent or some any other thing which which do not adverse effect on the nature. Okay, let's go for the other principle, which is principle of equitable use or intergeneration equity, which is simply saying to use of natural resources by any state, country must take into account an impact of other state. What happens usually, what is a term what we used to do, we whatever we have the resources, whatever we want to do, we do it. Okay, we don't think about the other people. Here we are talking about the other country, other states. So we always have to cooperate each other. Sometimes what we have not, some other people may have. Okay, so what happens if we cooperate with them, or if we can help them, for sure they will definitely help us back. Okay, so this what we say is do good things always comes in back in return. Okay, so don't expect the result is going to be good, but sometimes what happens, accidentally it comes, it give you the best result, I guess. Okay, let's go for the principle 4th, which is principle of integration. It says that the environmental aspect and impact of social and economic activity should be integrated so that prudent use of natural resource is ensured. what is now sustainability report? As I told you, what is sustainable development, okay, what is going to be the principles and all, okay. Let's go for one report which is simply sustainable report. It is an organization report that is formulation of about economic, environment, social, governance performance. So this is focusing on economic, right, environment, right, social, and with that one more thing, ठीक है, हमें we know these things, economic, environment, social terms, ठीक है, this with this one more thing which is governance performance, ठीक है, which is governance performance. It is a key platform for communicating positive and negative sustainable impact. It helps in combining long-term profitability with the social justice and environmental case. Okay, so that's it for today's class, guys. We'll continue this chapter, the corporate governance, in our next video. This is Soumya Santosh. Hope so this video was benefited to you a bit. If it was, hit a like button, subscribe my channel, and share this video to the CE and CMA aspirants. That's it. To this, guys.